After what I presume being a heavy night of drinking, if you could sleep in a fan like this, I get awoken by the captain. He insults my commitment a bunch and drops me off at the border crossing. Here I get jump scared by a dickhead over the intercom, which is called Commissioner Adriev, and he will be helping me through the training course. To explain my job, I have to do the following. I let people in by pulling the lever. I ask these people for their papers. I check their papers on mistakes and make sure they are not taking any bad stuff in the country. Not that it could do any more harm looking at the cars these people drive. After ignoring my boss and just accepting everything, thinking that is what I'm supposed to do, I fuck up my first task like the great worker I am. After I tell the last person waiting to get lost, my first day is over. This means I started my first day with less money than I started. I sleep in a shitty trailer and I'm being told that because I am such a screw up, I caused the outpost to be in debt and never receive assistance from the government. Gotta say, that sounds familiar. After waking up with most likely chronic neck pains and a sore back, I get greeted by someone new. His name is Yuri Petrov and will be taking over the training. I can't blame the other comrade to take a hike after yesterday. Yuri explains that they have found proof of smugglers going around, and it seems that somehow they have found evidence of them going through this outpost, and I have some sticky notes in plain sight for everyone to read on who the so-called smugglers are. They are not very smart. And of course, without any coincidence, the first person that wants to pass the border seems to be one of the smugglers. Let's see what Comrade Commissioner wants me to do to this guy. After taking his papers, I tell him to stretch his legs and I attempt to... What? I search his car for traces of criminal activity. For whatever reason, this organization is marking the contraband with snakes that can be seen with UV lights, which I apparently have access to for whatever reason. I'm sure this is why there is probably no public toilets in sight. Anyway, Comrade Yuri instructs me to get some equipment, as they call it in this country, and slash open the backseat. For whatever reason, I decide to check if I can actually hit the person, and I slash open Amin's face as he falls to the ground. Now that I have woken up from my daydream, it seems that Amin got a lot younger and changed his name. So I do what I was asked to do and find some powdered sugar. I also check the rest of the car looking for coffee. Coffee? What? After finding more powdered sugar, I give the car a love tap or two and arrest Amin because his disguise didn't work on me. After watching him change into a different outfit and putting the powdered sugar in what they call a warehouse, even though I call it a closet, we ask another officer here to get his ass up and move the damn car. After I apparently black out and the car is just gone, I am given more tools for my inspections. After all inspections are done, we get to the last person, who I expect to be a smuggler just because of his age. Apparently I can do that in this country, don't look at me like that. After going through his car and finding a bunch of baking products, the man apparently wanted to bribe me, which I did not see. I arrested Igor, and he was placed with Amin in the jail cell, and his car was removed from this world somehow. After going to bed with some money for once, I wake up to the commissioner yelling at me to take the prisoners to this, labor camp. And I need to give up the things I found in the cars. So after using a magic spell to transport both prisoners to the van, I do whatever I can to stay on the road, as it might look fine, but driving in this game is not easy. After taking the prisoners to their new home, I meet Vlad, the pawn shop owner, and most likely arms dealer. Looking at the stuff he got behind him, I decide to buy a knife, a climbing axe and a pistol and drive off to the police base to sell the contraband, I think. After returning to the outpost, it was time for a nap. After having barely enough money to pay for the outpost and wages, I start the next day. This new day, I have to check cargo. While waiting for this old fuck, I try to find a button that is clearly on screen and hope I don't have to actually remember it all. I start checking this info. To my delight, there's an entire mechanic for this, and I go through all the cargo. After finding out he is lying on his cargo sheet, I tell him to eat shit and send him back the way he came. This came to bite me in the ass almost instantly, as I forgot to note it down on my little paper, as I was told about at the start of the tutorial, so I was again in debt to the state. Now the commissioner wants me to get all the stuff out of the truck and check it. And I forgot the first and most important step of this game, the UV light, and the snake I can find. So while I just complain and try to figure it out, I arrest this guy and continue with the inspection after I get rid of his car and eat his fish covered in powdered sugar. After having to tell the last guy at the outpost he is missing an entire cow and to leave, another day has passed. And this time I'm being told I'm on my own, a test to see what I have learned so far and if I can survive being a part of the outpost. Some weird guy wants to trade items and I tried to sell him an entire brick of powdered sugar, but he does not want to take it. Moving on to the last person in the row, He decides he does not want to wait and drives through the barricade as I contemplate shooting him in the face. The alarms go off and I'm told to stop drooling and go after him at once. I get into the van and chase the goat man in an intense speedy chase, and after catching up, ramming him into a steep hill on a tree and aim my pistol at him while I arrest him. I check the car, but apparently we're just leaving the poor goats there and I need to go back to the outpost because a call is coming through. Before I can ask why whatever they want is my problem, I get told Sergeant Whatever is in trouble and his team is MIA. Me and Captain Solo can check out what happened and find the troublesome site. After Sorokin gets gunned down, I jump out of the van and I'm ready to main character these people to win the fight. But I get a rude awakening as I get riddled with bullets from all sides and fall down on the ground.